I was in Park Slope in Brooklyn, and I had a second job to go to. And I looked at my phone, and there were like just alerts and calls, but nothing had come through to me. And I thought, that's very odd. And then I got a call from the photo desk, and it was Mike saying, they smashed a plane into the World Trade Center. Get down to the hospital on Atlantic Avenue. And the phone went dead on the slope in Park Slope. I got up to a rooftop and I took the picture where you just see the black smoke coming over towards Brooklyn. And then I went down to the hospital. We expected tens of thousands of people to be injured. And the ambulances started to arrive. It was just very chaotic. But what was the eeriest part was it all went silent. And the ambulances stopped, and the medical personnel were coming out saying, you know, they thought they'd be helping 30,000 people, and there were 20 people, 30 people maybe. So that was pretty devastating. All of a sudden, people just started gathering, and I heard just lots of screaming and crying, and I saw the smoke from the building. The building was collapsing. I didn't know what I was seeing. And there was just, you know, again, the level of intensity of people just screaming and crying went way up. Then the second building collapsed, and from the Brooklyn perspective, I was on the promenade in downtown Brooklyn. The sky just went completely black, and the wind was carrying it towards us. So we were being rained upon, and you know, it was just, everyone was covered, even in Brooklyn. I ended up having to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge to get into the city because the subways weren't running. Again, everything was just roadblocks and stops. Just walking around at the base of the Brooklyn Bridge in Manhattan, cars, street, everything was covered in the white dust. Resumes, there were people's resumes like floating down on our heads. It was so surreal, and someone had scrawled into a car windshield, "War." A few days earlier, on September 9th, I had photographed firefighter Timothy Stackpole, who was promoted to a captain. He had been injured previously, so September 9th he was at the Irish Fair in Brooklyn. He was given this award of Man of the Year, and I thought of him on September 11th, and just again, since everyone was there, I just knew he was there, and unfortunately, he was there, and he was one of the firefighters that lost his life. A lot of people's belief in another person was shattered that day. You know, it had always been the Thanksgiving Day parade. You know, you just, hi, can I take some pictures from, you know, talk to people, be honest with them, and they would believe you. Everything ended that day. That you can't just be accepted at face value. In this photo, I was walking back into Brooklyn on the Brooklyn Bridge from Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, and you know, we were just riveted by the sight. And at one moment, I was just shocked that we were having a beautiful sunset after the most horrific day. It was just so out of place. To me, at the time, it was an affront. How could there just be this beautiful sunset? It felt so wrong. You know, I grew up with my father talking about Pearl Harbor, and this was it for us. And you know, I called my parents when I was on my way. You know, before I left on the landline to the city. You know, I'm going over there. And they understood. It's your city, it's history you want to see. And as photographers, it's important that we document and can show what's happening.